Hello YouTube, this is Marco. I'm your watch cardinal bringing you another video here today talking collection reviews for a man who I consider to be a friend, a good friend, a man who's appeared both on the Archie Luxury live streams and of course on Tim Wright's live streams. His name is Mr. GMT. Shout out to you, Mr. GMT, not only for being overall just a great dude, but also for contributing to this channel, helping me upgrade my streaming setup. So hopefully I'll be able to bring you live streams in the future. Today's Friday, sometime in February. I have no idea at this point. I just finished all of my exams as of about 30 minutes ago, so thank God for that. So I'll be hopefully uploading a lot more videos over the course of this next week. Now that I'm in my March break, hopefully I'll be doing, or I'm planning to do at least, probably an upload every day, and some days, or most days rather, double upload. So I'll be churning out some content for you guys. So talking collection reviews for, of course, Mr. GMT. What does he have in the collection? He's got a Tag Heuer Monaco that I absolutely love. Obviously, it's the Steve McQueen version. I think that is, if you're going to get a Tag Heuer Monaco, it's the one to get. It's an absolute design icon, super versatile as a dressy piece, as a sporty piece. And I think overall, probably one of the best chronographs you can probably get, and one of the most iconic chronographs ever made. He's got a GMT Master 2 Black, which I personally love. I think it's probably the nicest watch in your collection, but that's just my personal opinion. I love the GMT Master 2 range of Rolex, as I mentioned in previous videos. For myself, I would love to add one to my personal collection at some point in the future. I think that is an absolute steel stunner, so definitely should hoard and possess and keep that watch. You've got a two-tone pre-ceramic Submariner that I think is absolutely gorgeous. It just pops within your collection. It has a little bit of blinginess, and it has, in my opinion, a lot of character as well. Because of that pre-ceramic, it gives off that vintage vibe. I think the other watch that also gives off that vintage vibe is your daily watch. Your daily watch, which is a Tudor Black Bay 58 in blue, which I think is just a phenomenal watch. I think that, along with probably the Tudor Pelagos, are the two best tool watches on the market at their price point. So, I mean, you can obviously argue the Omega Seamaster 300 meter Professional, which is also a great watch, but personally, I really do like the vintage aesthetic of the Tudor Black Bay 58. So that would be my personal pick. And last but not least, you've got a beautiful Breitling Navitimer. Of course, you bought that, if I'm not mistaken, on the birthday of your son. So I think that is just a phenomenal sentimental piece. I think that is just gorgeous as well, and a great part of your collection. What I think stands out in your collection, in my opinion, is kind of the sub-collections within your kind of collection. So you've got two chronographs, you've got two Rolex, and then you've got the Tudor, right? So what do I think of the collection overall? I think it is absolutely phenomenal. I think it just pops. You've got a great collection because it shows a great versatility, right? It's not just one brand, it's not just one function. And so in that respect, I think it's a very usable collection that covers a lot of bases overall. And I think that it really does suit your lifestyle. I think that you're a more sporty guy, you know, you're definitely not into your kind of dress watches. You're somebody who's kind of business casual and pretty business casual overall. So I would definitely wouldn't recommend and wouldn't see you really ever adding a kind of pure dress watch to your collection, because that's just not who you are. And so I really do love that collection simply for that reason, because it just suits your lifestyle beautifully. And I think you show great taste and great versatility in your collection over a range of different functions. Now, you've obviously spoken to me in your email talking about your collection journey, and I think that it's super cool. So for all of you guys that don't know, he started kind of his love for watches at the age of 5. His mom used to buy him these kind of, let's call them affordable watches. But overall, I think it's just a cool story to start collecting watches and loving watches at such a young age. I think that it's pretty cool to know that you've been kind of in the hobby for so long overall. So it does show that you are genuine and true enthusiast and not just a collector of watches. You really just love these things from a young age, and over time you've just never stopped loving them. So I think that is awesome. Obviously, you've also talked to me about your future purchase plans, which your plan at the moment is, of course, to add the Rolex Day-Date that your father once owned, that you unfortunately had to sell. And I think that is just schmicko. It's perfect for your collection. Overall, listen, I know that in my last collection review, or one of my collection reviews, I did say that, oh, is Rolex enough, or should we aspire for more? But for some people, I do believe that, listen, you don't need to add a Vacheron Constantin or a Patek Philippe or an independent brand that I love and that I personally would like to own, to consider yourself a watch collector and watch enthusiast. I think that sure, you can collect obviously your steel models, or your kind of, I guess you can call them hotter models, which you do own some, but you also own some that are also very versatile, and I would consider to be not so hot, but you genuinely love them for what they are. And so in that respect, you don't need to own high horology complications and high horology watch brands to be considered, in my opinion, a watch enthusiast. And I think that adding the Day-Date that was once your father's is not just a great watch overall. I think it would be a great sentimental piece, and I think as well it would be a great piece that would just pop in your collection. I think that a Day-Date is a much more formal, much more dressier watch, and overall it's a fike off, get the fike out of my way kind of watch, you know. And so in that respect, I think although the two-tone sub does fit that kind of category, I think that overall a Day-Date just screams and shouts, hey man, I'm a serious watch collector. And so in that respect, I think it just fits in with your collection beautifully. And of course, lest we forget the sentimental value that that watch has for you, obviously being your father's old watch. So I would definitely say, if you get the opportunity, to pull the trigger on that watch. Now, when I think beyond that watch, obviously you haven't mentioned anything else that you would like to add beyond that watch. In my opinion, I look at your collection and I ask myself, how many watches do you really need? And that is an important question to ask yourself. When is it time to kind of, you know, slow things down, reflect critically on your collection, and think about where your collection should head in the future? And I think that overall, when I look at your collection, not only do you have a great diversity of brands, a great diversity of functions, if you were to add the Day-Date, I think overall you cover all your bases, from sports to dress to kind of everyday watches. And so in that respect, I mean, how many watches does a man really need? I think that your collection is perfect. You would have a six-piece combo meal deal hungabusta, as Archie would say. And I think that overall, you just can't beat that. I really do believe that that Day-Date should be your exit watch, honestly speaking. And I know that might be a little crazy to think. Maybe you do want to collect more watches. But I think if you add the Day-Date, it just puts your collection over the top. And at the end of the day, what else could you really add? Sure, you can add something that's complicated from a high horology watch brand, but as I mentioned earlier, I don't really think it would be kind of impactful in your collection or impactful for you in any way, shape, or form, because it doesn't really suit your lifestyle. There's no point at the end of the day of owning a dress watch that you'll never wear, right? Unless you really are an enthusiast. Like, for example, Archie Luxury owns many Patek Philippe's, and despite not wearing them, he really does love and appreciate the brand. And so in that respect, I understand why he owns these watches. But for you, on the other hand, it's not that you dislike them, but you just don't understand how it fit, in my opinion, in your lifestyle, and I totally agree, right? So I just don't see yourself owning, or it would be worth owning, these kind of high horology watch brands, because it just doesn't suit kind of your lifestyle. Now, of course, if you would like to go in that direction, where would I steer you? Obviously, the main staple would be Patek. In my opinion, 5196G is just, or J is perfect. I think a yellow gold Calatrava is just schmicko. It's a time-only Calatrava. The other direction, of course, I would steer you is one of my personal favorites, which is the Vacheron Patrimony. I like in particular the Boutique Edition, which has a guilloche dial. It's got a manual wind movement that's just absolutely beautiful. Geneva seal movement, Geneva seal case. And of course, Breguet. Now, there are a number of models that I feature on this channel. Of course, if you guys want to take a look at that video, high horology watches at a bargain from 5 to 15,000. Of course, you can always look at that for inspiration. But overall, I love your collection. I really do feel that your Day-Date could be your exit piece. And that overall, I mean, how many watches does a man need? You know, sometimes we just need to take time and reflect critically on what we have and just appreciate and live in the moment and appreciate what we have. So that's my review for today. I look forward, of course, to seeing how your collection is going to evolve over the years. Of course, this would be an invitation to like the video, to subscribe for more in the future, subscribe to my guys over at the Gentleman's Hangout and at Tim Wright. Make sure to check out timwright.com as well. And of course, guys, I'm Marco, I'm your Watch Cardinal, and I'll see you guys in the next one.